All right, really hurrying up here. Just want to get some things knocked out of the way. We'll get the Michael's prep, say the best for last. So I was looking at prime numbers, and they have these things called twin prime numbers in Wikipedia. Wikipedia under prime numbers, you can click twin prime numbers and scroll down and look at that. Well, and it's about taking the prime number and adding, obviously the even number is not prime because they can all be divided by 2. So it's all these odd numbers. And if they're next to each other, odd number next to odd number in a progression of odd numbers, they call them twin primes. So 311 and 313 are twin prime numbers. And if I was to just look at that real quick for you. Twin primes. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 2020. It's the 20th set of twin primes. That could just be a coincidence, 2020. And so what I was saying was that on the Julian calendar, we're coming up on 311 and 313 on the Julian calendar tomorrow, Thursday, and then Saturday the 26th. On the Julian calendar, it's 311 and 313, not really 324 and 326. But on our calendar, of course, but this is the Julian calendar we're talking about. We'll just do Mike's prep now, and then we'll get to okay. Oh, we got some setup. Let me set these up for you. Well, it looks like we got out of the 24th. That'll be next, but the 24th is the big NATO meeting. So we would call that the motive or the precursor, because that's 311 on the Julian. Julian, what that guy's name in American Gigolo? Julian. Julian, American Gigolo. Julian. UIA. Julian calendar.
Showing pictures that match.
UIA, same spelling. Pope Francis will consecrate. Now, in between, okay, in between NATO, so you got NATO Thursday, the Pope on Friday, and then Trump on Saturday. All lining up real nice. 311, 312, 313 on the Gregorian calendar. But on the Julian calendar, I'm sorry, I said it backwards. On the Julian calendar, that's 311, 312, 313. Pope Francis will consecrate Ukraine and Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary on March 25th. America Magazine. This event will happen on Friday, March 25th. This is Michael's stuff now. It's got my name on the email, but I wanted to blow it up for you, so I emailed it back to myself. So this is Michael's hard work with the Gematria. Immaculate Heart of Mary comes to 88 miles per hour. And remember, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious stuff. Remember that? 888 it also comes to. The 888s, which is Donald J. Trump or Donald John Trump. Saint Ignatius of Loyola. Little mystery Babylonian stuff going on there. The United States of America. Remember, America is land of the plumed serpent. The original word America, that's what it meant. And we suspect bad stuff gonna go down this country, boy. Antichrist gonna go down here, and then America's gonna go down here. We are not going to be happy campers when that right eye gets dotted. The amount of adrenaline that's going to run through us is palpable. You just can't even imagine it. I think I used that word incorrectly. You can taste it. It's palpable. Definition of palpable. So intense as to seem almost tangible. Yeah, I said it's palpable, you know. It's so intense. And then I said you can't even imagine it. When this is that you can imagine it. You can imagine the intensity. So it's kind of an oxymoron there. Yeah. I'm just messing with y'all. All right. Enchantment under the sea. This Pope event comes to Enchantment Under the Sea. That's out of course, Back to the Future. That was the dance that changed time. That was the name of the dance. And of course, Antichrist, Beast Under the Sea. Excuse me, Beast Out of the Sea. And then we've got One World Trade Center. That's the Antichrist when he rises. We've got The Devil Went Down to Georgia. That's where Trump's going to be. I don't know what that is. Let's go with The Silence of the Lambs. Well, that is known as the Great Tribulation. Route 66. Well, that's the book of Revelation. Sicario, Day of the Soldado. And the Great Tribulation. April 23rd. April 23rd. We just talked about that yesterday, didn't we? When the Lord might be putting a stop to everything. Mayday, mayday, mayday. I'm going to be checking the Chaldean Gematria from now on as well. Well, okay, I don't even know what that is. There is a Chaldean calculator. I've seen it before, but I'm so glad you're doing that because, yeah. Our friend over in Australia, she goes through like, my goodness, like 25 different gematrias. The following term matched Immaculate Heart of Mary in Chaldean, Book of Revelation, 1988, Donnie Darko, The Mirror of This Year, March 24th, which is the NATO meeting with Biden in Brussels, which Julian's us back to March 11th. 11:17, which is Zechariah 11:17, the deadly right eye wound Bible verse. Well, it discusses the deadly wound as to the right eye specific. Second, 9/11. I'll tell you what, this weekend is so big that if nothing goes down, then a certain amount of days or something ties us then to when it all actually does go down. Second, 9/11, and birth of the Antichrist, which in literal terms has a lot of, has a lot of meaning. Birth of the Antichrist was June 14th, 1946. Birth of the Antichrist is when he gets dotted in the right eye. Birth of the Antichrist could be when he rises on the third day. Birth of the Antichrist is when he makes himself known as the Antichrist, performing the abomination of desolation. Good stuff there, Michael. NATO press release, extraordinary NATO summit, they called it. That definitely gets Michael's attention. It, of course, is on March 11th, Julian calendar-wise. And yeah, okay. I was going to show you something about prime numbers, but never mind. So, extraordinary NATO summit comes to U.S. President Donald John Trump, U.S. President Donald J. Trump, and Jewish. 1988, back to the Donnie Darko year, as it's a complete overlay of this year. 9/11, 2001, twin Trumps go down. Kingsman Secret Service, and Kingsman comes to 88 Secret Service. United States economic collapse. Well, like I told you, our fun will just be beginning when his right eye gets dotted. Oh, I'm super tired. Got the super brain fog going.
Think that Truman has never come close to.
Hey, Trey, how come nobody understands the truth about what's going on over there? Well, since 2020, how you can see, and your friends here on this channel can see that this whole world's a stage, but how come the masses can't see it?
Let me ask you, why do you think that Truman has never come close to discovering the true nature of his world until now?
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented.
World until now.
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that. They just take what that news person tells them and they just go with it. And they look at us like we're
They're laughing
crazy.
at you. They're giving you the
They're giving you the firmament. Don't let them give you the firmament.
the earth under the firmament.
I think
They're
this,
just
this was for my
giving it to
Facebook
you.
people.
They're just laughing.
I'm getting that click out. Hey, the click's gone. Y'all like that? And you got to throw a little pizza there, you know, for all those, I don't know, that whole thing. Good grief, them and their pizza.
Well, since there's no 13th month, it'd have to be September 13th is a date that they're giving us. But I mean, you know, could be nothing, but we look at everything. So you just.
It was like October 9th, 2013. I wonder if anything happened on October 9th, 2013. It had a 10/9/13. Hang on a second. Let me look at something real quick. I was on a Wednesday, October 9th. No big deal. Yeah. I was just seeing how old Trump was on that day. Yeah, 10913. Mean nothing to me. But you know, in their world, everything's got something to do with numbers. Truth in Plain Sight, this one's called. Last one. We're about to put this baby to bed.
So this Christoph guy, who of course is representing God, and Truman, of course, is wanting to break out. Truman says, is anything real? And the guy's like, you're real. And then he goes on to tell Truman that the world out there that you're wanting to get to, it's just as staged, it's just as faked as this show is here, but at the very least, you here in this show are protected.
You're real.
Was nothing real.
Was nothing real? I pause so I don't get a copyright strike. Was nothing real in my whole life? Was everything staged? Of course, God, of course, has set up my life. Every divorce, every date I went on, everything ordained from before the foundation of the world. Period. Period. God's in charge of it all. So he scripted Truman's life. Truman represents humankind, and he's going to break it there. That's their whole thing, is to reverse time, to go 88 miles per hour. Just, yeah.
You were real.
You were real, Truman. That's why we all loved watching you. You were real. Because everything else in TV had just gotten so fake with actors and boring, but you were real. You know, reality TV. Truman was the first reality TV, much more interesting. What he's telling them.
That's what made you so good to watch.
That's why he was so good to watch. You weren't an actor. You weren't fake. But now he's going to sit here and tell you that the whole world out there is fake. Cryptically, he's going to tell you that. And we already know that all the world's a stage.
Listen to me, Truman.
Listen to me, Truman. This is the real deal. This is how it really is in the real world, Truman.
There's no more truth out there than there is in the world I created for you.
It's all staged. The world out there is just as staged as what we've been staging.
No more truth out there than there is in the world that I created for you. In other words, they're both fake. They're both staged. Telling you right to your face.
Thank you.
Same lies.
Same lies,
Same deceit.
same deceit.
But in my world, you have nothing to fear.
But you know,
He's got you covered.
no. Here, Truman, at least you're protected. All the world's a stage and always has been. At least in the, well, let's just say once, you know, the world wars.
World wars, all staged. All staged. I didn't want to get into, not with my people on Facebook, I couldn't get in. You can't get into World War II or the reason why they had World War II, because then you start getting into a whole religious aspect, or, you know, makes people feel weird about what happened to those people that were, that group of people that were, you know, the victims of World War II, and, you know, the concentration camps, and why they had to then anoint that city where the Antichrist declares himself to be God, why they had to declare them back to, you know. So anyway.
1 and 2. At the very least, World War II.
Yeah. Yeah. World War I mean, the whole Franz Ferdinand assassination. I mean, I can't sit here and tell you for sure I know that was fake. They might have really killed the dude. I don't know. Was it a real war? Michael will tell you real quick, you know, that the letters to Mazzini, 1871 or 1873. Albert Pike, letters to Mazzini. I don't think I'm saying it right. Mazzini. Yeah, it's with Z's. 1871, August 15th, 1871. So, 1871, he's telling you about World War I, World War II, World War III. So I think we're going to have to go with they're all scripted. So, y'all, I've forgotten more stuff than most people know. Sometimes my brain just slips, literally forget more than most people know. Yeah. Too much brain fog going on. Let's get out of here. What do you say? By the way, Albert Pike, Letter to Mazzini. That's some good stuff to read right there, man. I want to check that out. Yeah. All right, love y'all. Tonight's Bible study. Woof, that was tough. You can at least see how I go about a deep study. You can see how I study. But I never came to a true conclusion about all three verses of Daniel 9:25, 9:26, 9:27. We dissected it. We know 27 is the Antichrist. That's painfully obvious because of Matthew 24:15. But it's just, and sometimes I wonder if I was just looked too much into it because so many people tell me that that's Jesus, that's not the Antichrist. And I'm like, well, 25 might be Jesus, 26 might be Jesus. Well, 25 might be Jesus because, and we just dissected it to death. And it might all just be about the Antichrist. And I, like most people tell you, and I just look too deep into it because other people may or may not have been tricked into looking too deep into it, and they get fooled by these false people out there. I don't know. So I just took a deep dive into it. If you just Google Daniel 9:25 is Jesus. It was here specifically, emphatically, and for the first time that Jesus presented himself to the Jewish people as the Messiah Prince. See, so I like that because it's capitalized. 9:25, Messiah the Prince is capitalized. So yeah, that might be a good study right there. Which decree marks the beginning of the 77s? Here's somebody that took a real deep dive in it, and that was good stuff right there. Doesn't mean they're right. Daniel 9:25 is the Antichrist. Christ or Antichrist, the mysterious gap in Daniel 9. It about drove me crazy tonight. Historically, the church has seen the 70-week period of Daniel 9 is referring to the Messiah, specifically the timing and details of Jesus' ministry. Making sense of the world in terms of prophecy. Well, there's a guy right there. He says Matthew 24:15, Daniel 9:27. Oh, there you go. It's the Antichrist. Boom. Yeah, I like the way Antichrist sits right in between all three of those. Antichrist sits right below, right in the middle, Matthew 24:15 and 9:27, because that's exactly what's going on. Same as 2 Thessalonians 2, 3, and 4. Same thing. So I know 9:27 is the Antichrist, but where you get tripped up is other people telling you 25 is Jesus. And maybe I should have read this first, I mean, let's change it to 6 is Antichrist. Daniel 9:26 is Jesus.
According to cielo.org.ca, whether they silently ignore or explicitly deny the interest of Daniel 9 in the Antiochene crisis, They identify Jesus as the cut-off anointed one of Daniel chapter 9 verse 26.
And see, I've taught it before that 25 and 26 are Jesus, and then 27 pops in. And I showed tonight how Daniel 7 goes back and forth. Back and forth. Every other verse or sets of verses is talking about God giving everything to the saints in Daniel 7. Says it about 3 different times. God wins and gives the kingdom to the sheep, to the saints. And 3 or 4 different times talks about the Antichrist. And they go back and forth. So when you look at Daniel 9, 25 and 26, could be completely different than 27. Absolutely. So we covered that, went over that. I really detailed Daniel 7 and showed how they jump. He is called Messiah, which signifies Christ anointed. John 1:41. Okay. Daniel 9:26. Jesus was cut off by the crucifixion. Jesus came to pay for all personal sins. The evening offering was a type of great sacrifice Christ was to offer in the evenings. Can you prove that Daniel 9:26 is a prophecy about? I cannot prove that Daniel is talking about Jesus in 9. I couldn't prove that it was Jesus either. Could not. I couldn't prove it was the Antichrist either. Only 9:27 could I prove it was the Antichrist. What does Daniel 9:26 mean? But Jesus, the true Messiah, is intended with whom the character date. But remember, the Antichrist is to be the replica of Jesus. And it's so vaguely written. It's written so tough. God's promised Messiah will be cut off having nothing after the 62 weeks. In hindsight, this clearly refers to Christ's death. He was rejected. Faith alone. After centuries of promising to send a Messiah, God finally gave a concrete timeline in Daniel 24:27. Christ or Antichrist? The mysterious gap in Daniel 9. Hartman said that quasi-prophecy of Daniel 9:26 refers exclusively to the climax of Ephesians 1, persecution of the Jews, when he abolished the legitimate ministrymagazine.org. And you can't trust any of these people, but somebody might be really laying down the good stuff. You just don't know. Anyway, you get into my Bible study, you'll at least see how I do a study without anybody else's help. And it was an exhaustive study on it. Showing you why if I would just read these, maybe something would click. However, this last phrase, but not in the 70th, appears nowhere in Daniel 26:27. It is Wall Hoover's unwarranted assumption. Oh boy, people are assuming. Well, we broke down a lot of words tonight in the Greek. I can tell you that, a lot of the words. Not just Messiah, but we broke down a lot of the words. Anyway, love y'all very much.